exercise Iron Fist is a joint exercise between the Americans and the Japanese, and it's providing reinforcements to it's part of the island chains in Southeast Asia, and in this case closest to Taiwan. So it is helping the ability for US and Japanese forces to work together. This is something they've been doing for quite some time, but it's also sending a strong political message to aggressors in the region, in particular China, that the United States and Japan stand side by side, ready to defend the different island chains and different territories across the region. The US are exercising so close to Taiwan because the Japanese have put anti-ship missiles as part of a capability that close to Taiwan, in solidarity with Taiwan, to suggest to the Chinese that the Japanese are there to back them should the Chinese decide to try and take Taiwan by force. And what we're seeing with this particular exercise and the geographic location it's being held in is the Americans turning around in particular to the Chinese and saying, we're here to back the Japanese and to back the Taiwanese as well. That is a message that is not going to go down well and hasn't gone down well inside Beijing, but it's showing a degree of solidarity. And of course we're seeing a US pivot from primarily Europe and elsewhere in our view of American priorities to Southeast Asia. Donald Trump, since he's come in, has emphasized that pivot, that importance of Southeast Asia ever since he's come in. But actually, if we go back even further, when Barack Obama was President of the United States, he started the US pivot into Southeast Asia by building up US capabilities in Northern Australia and across the different countries in the region. So it's something that the US has recognized as an area they need to focus on and need to increase their capabilities in, both from a military perspective, but also in a way that they can demonstrate to the aggressor in the region, i.e. China, that they're ready to support and counter any aggression that may come. The island is an area where if China wanted to try and put a maritime blockade around Taiwan, then they would have to come within missile range of the island. But of course, if you've got anti-ship missiles, they're vulnerable to air attack, and that's the second type of missiles that and capabilities that Japan have put in, and this is what the America and Japan are exercising together with. They brought in anti-air missiles that are providing that air defense bubble that would make it very difficult for the Chinese to come and try and deal with the anti-ship missiles in an early attack. So it's a comprehensive layered defense with an offensive capability in the maritime environment. That's what the Japanese have put there, and again this is what the Americans are reinforcing through this joint American-Japanese exercise. Well, China's response whenever Japan first put the missiles onto the island was one of a stiff diplomatic response, a strongly worded letter and strongly worded notes suggesting their displeasure. And we'll have seen behind closed doors an awful lot of diplomatic activity trying to undermine Japan. That in itself will stimulate the Chinese carrying out a lot of grey zone operations against Japan and against other countries in the region, because China is concerned about different nations showing a level of support to Taiwan, which Xi Jinping, the Chinese leader, has turned around and said that he will take Taiwan back by whatever means. Now, he wants to get it back diplomatically and through negotiation, but he said he's prepared to take it back militarily if necessary. And China has been building up its military capability in the region for a long time and has built some special one-use only military capabilities that are designed to take an island, and that island being Taiwan. China's been doing that to demonstrate that they can do it, to put pressure on Taiwan, to put pressure on the Taiwanese opposition to step up and try and increase their relationship with China. But China does not like what is happening now with Japan's solidarity with Taiwan, and it won't like even more the American solidarity with Japan. What we haven't got yet is this meeting between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping. Whenever that happens, it'll be interesting to see the exchanges that happen there over this, and whether Donald Trump ramps up the pressure or eases off the pressure in the language that he uses and saying how he's going to support other regional nations. It's all part of a big super diplomatic power play. And we have to remember that the military is not just there to fight war. It's another arm of diplomacy. And only when that diplomacy goes wrong is the military used to fight. And therefore this is an example of where deploying military capability is being used as part of diplomacy within the region to send clear messages.